Welcome back to the channel, and welcome if it is your first time here at Sailing Skizmo. We are in Falmouth this week, and on this sail we go from Falmouth town centre to Cove on the Helford estuary. We had a headwind on the way there, which is why we chose that destination, so we could have a leisurely run back after lunch. So our first day sail is the last day of the Shanty Festival in Falmouth, which also coincided with the Falmouth Classics weekend. As you can see on the horizon, the plethora of sails, that's the first stages of today's Classics race. You can see here a couple of tankers anchored outside the estuary. They're probably waiting for a berth or for bunkering operations. Also, you can see I'm not in Skizmo today. There were not enough people to fill all our boats, so I volunteered to crew on another one. This is the Morgenster, built in the Netherlands in 1919. Since 2008 it's operated as a sail training ship. There she is, all sad because I left her on her own all day long. So a calm start to me and Porth today, this time in Skizmo. Lucky again with the weather. Here we're just entering Carrick Roads and heading towards Black Rock, famous for being both a shipping hazard and a shipping blessing at the same time. A hazard because of the rocks that lay just beneath the surface, and has probably claimed many a ship over time. Well, not probably, it has. And a blessing because it marks the entrance to the world's third deepest natural harbour, offering a safe haven. This was a shorter sail than yesterday's, at just 5 nautical miles from our start point. Again chosen to coincide with the following tide for the journey back after lunch. Me and Porth is a great location for a dinghy sail. Sheltered beach, nice sandy beach, facilities and a cafe. Here's the fleet, all wayfarers except Skizmo, anchored into wind on this lee shore while we take a very relaxed lunch at the cafe. Working around tides and wind direction for the rest of the week in Falmouth, we sailed to Low Beach, then St Mawes, then St Just in Roseland, and then on the last day we just did a short sail up the Penryn River to the Pontcharden Park and Float facility, and that's where we launched and retrieved our boats at the beginning and the end of the week. So here's a few facts you might not know about Falmouth. The inspiration for Wind in the Willows came to Kenneth Grahame while staying at the Greenbank Hotel. Robin Knox-Johnson and Dame Ellen MacArthur started and finished their round-the-world voyages in Falmouth. The rock band Queen's drummer Roger Taylor, although born in Norfolk, grew up in Truro. So Taylor, along with Brian May, in a band called Smile, played their first gigs together in Falmouth. Builder and property owner Jacob Hamblin built the 111 steps known as Jacob's Ladder to link his business to the people of the town. Charles Darwin's ship, the HMS Beagle, anchored here in 1836, concluding its 5-year voyage around the world. This is a really nice sheltered bay behind St Anthony Head, which is opposite St Mawes town. It's the perfect overnight anchorage for a small dinghy. Today is our last full day of sailing, a windier start, and it only got windier as the day went on. And it was quite a fight single-handed getting into St Just. The wind was an F5, fully reefed. Also, there's lots of moored boats in the entrance to St Just in Roseland, and you don't want to be hitting those. Once we were tied up, we took a stroll up to Renwick's Cafe, opposite the St Just Church car park. So after lunch I decided that the wind was strong enough for me to just run back on the Genoa only, and so I had the mainsail wrapped around the boom and went back just on full Genoa. Now it's time to take the boats to Pontcharden to put them back on the road trailers for the journey home. That's the slipway ahead. Lots of room, but too steep to single-hand your boat. If you are single-handed, you will need to use a vehicle to pull your boat up. In fact, even if you're mob-handed, I think you'd need a vehicle to pull the boat up, because it is quite steep.
Go straight here, man.
So that's another visit to Falmouth over. We were very lucky with the weather, and a jolly time was had by all. Thanks for watching, see you next time.